So we are changing the knives on the Europe chipper. First time today. This is inside the drum. Everybody always asks, why do these chippers sound so different? Well, first thing, the knives are not staggered like a normal like Bandit or Morbark, where you have two on this side and two on this side. Also, if you notice, that knife doesn't really look like a traditional Bandit knife. So that's one we still got to pull. This is one that I just pulled off. That's how the bolts stay in. This is a new knife. See those screws there? Little holes that they go through. These essentially set your knife, kind of like what you would do with resetting your anvil. Instead, you do it with the knife itself. So these you can sharpen, not infinite, but pretty stinking close, that you can keep on sharpening, and then you just keep screwing this out and it pushes the knife forward. So you can get a lot more use out of your knife rather than getting 3 to 4 like a normal knife and then you have to just replace. You can get a lot more out of those. So all you do, first you put these screws in, which I'm not going to do right this second, but knife goes over the studs. Your bolts on the back side will be set for your depth. Then this block sits over all that and sandwiches it, so all your pressure is on essentially the swedge block instead of those little baby adjustment screws. Pretty simple once you get used to it, but definitely different than your traditional chipper. Part 2, since I forgot the most important part. This is how you set your depth of your knife. What you do, your screws are in. This isn't finished yet, I haven't adjusted it yet. What you do, you lay it across the drum, make sure back there is flush, make sure down there is flush. You should have minimal rocking, so I have to wind that back a little bit because right now my knife is a tiny bit too far forward. Come over here, that side's gonna come back even more. You wanna have it so it's just barely wiggling. And that should set your depth. But kind of cool, very different. All right, so this is the final adjustment. It has just barely the smallest amount of wiggle. That's right about where it should be. Now you pop your wedge block over the top, pop your bolts in, or your nuts rather, and give her a roll. Make sure that she doesn't contact anything, but that should be just about the perfect adjustment. All right, finished product. You can kind of see from here how each knife is on the drum. There is 4. Everybody asks if it's more knives, but you see how it just kind of starts walking its way over. Then you come way over here, and then there'll be one right in the center-ish. So it kind of walks its way back and forth when it's going through. That's what gives it that unique cutting sound, instead of just being 2 on this side and 2 on that side. But very simple process to do the knives. A little bit different than what we're all used to, but I really like that you can use the knife a lot longer. And if one knife is slightly different as you sharpen down, you can still adjust it, rather than having one being a lot different than another, or sharpening more than you need to just to bring it to the same tolerance as the other knives. Kind of a cool way to get the most bang for your buck out of each knife. But that's that. Freshly lettered up yesterday, looking good. Ready to go to work tomorrow. So I've also had a lot of people ask, how do the knives hold up with these? Really not bad, considering that's about 100 hours, maybe a tiny bit less of run time, and really pushing the machine quite a bit, jamming some pretty big stuff through it. So I'm impressed. Hopefully that lets you in on a little bit of what it's like to own these.